Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Kyle Benedict. Today we are talking Buena Vista Children's Services, and here is the Executive Director of Buena Vista Children's Services, Erin Mabry. Thank you very much for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to talk about Buena Vista. They have their 22nd annual Early Childhood Education Conference coming up on Saturday, February 25th, and then also Friday, the 24th, there's going to be a kickoff event. So we'll touch on that. But first off, Erin, tell us about yourself and how you got involved with Buena Vista.
Well, I was actually hired 16 years ago as an aide for the after-school program and summer program. And I've just worked my way up, and I've been the executive director. Actually, I started teaching art, which was my passion, and I fell in love with the programs and the mission and the vision, and I've been the executive director for six years now.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and some of their programs address child care, education, parenting, child abuse prevention, a lot of great stuff. And for more information, you can visit their website, bv-cs.org, or you can also a good phone number, 928-646-5200. So I guess we'll just get right into it. Buena Vista, what exactly is it? And I mean, just how does it work? There's a lot of stuff you guys do.
We do a lot of things. We're a nonprofit organization. We're grassroots. We're very small administration, and we address child care, quality child care, and we actually are in 5 counties throughout northern Arizona. So we are on the move quite a bit. We have 2 major events every year. The first one being the conference, like you just mentioned, and the second in April, tagged to Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month, which is, we'll talk about that a little bit. And that's in April, and that's a community event where we invite families out to connect with all the great resources that we have in the Verde Valley. So.
Great, yeah. And here in the Verde Valley, where are you located exactly?
We are
right here in Cottonwood?
Our office is right across the street from the Verde Valley Medical Center.
Oh, okay.
So we're here in town. Yeah.
Now, when we're talking about kids, what age groups are we talking about here?
Well, 0 to 12 mainly, but we do recognize that a child doesn't stop growing at 12, and right. So we really focus on a whole child in the family unit and the communities that they live in. They're providers, so. At the child care itself, we actually are licensed for 0 to 12, and 0 meaning 6 weeks. So we'll start children at six weeks old, and they'll stay with us until they're at least 12.
Okay, wow. So let's talk about child care. I mean, in terms of options here in the Verde Valley, are there many options? I mean, that's, of course, something that is a major a choice on where you're going to take your kid when you go to work once you get to that age. What are the options like here in the Verde Valley?
So we really try to promote that the family choose what is best for them. There are different kinds of child care. There's group child care, which is our Bright Future site. You know, the child is in a classroom with several other children. There's smaller options where the child might go to like a home provider. Those are smaller groups. Some people prefer that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of options in the Verde. I think it's probably statewide, excuse me, that there are a lot of deficits in what child care looks like these days. It's an expensive endeavor. And we do try to promote through our certification program. We try to go out and see if there's anybody that's interested in doing child care from their home, and we'll bring them through this whole process of getting certified through the state so they can be reimbursed.
So now is this service open to everybody, all families?
All families.
Okay, they just have to contact you directly?
Bright Futures. Unfortunately, right now we have quite a wait list, but we do encourage people to get on the wait list. We have a lot of pregnant parents that are families that are expecting, and they hurry up and get on the wait list for Bright Futures so that they can get their kids in when they are 6 weeks eligible.
Okay, yeah, and speaking of parents, later on in the show we'll talk about some of the education programs and services that they offer for parents, because it's obviously, I don't have any kids myself, but just seeing people when they're pregnant and they're expecting a kid, it's yeah, just it's a very scary but also exciting time from the outside looking in. But you mentioned a certification program for childcare. How does that work? And that's through DES, the Department of Economic Security?
Correct.
Okay,
yep.
How does that work?
So we are in 5 counties for that program, actually, and we go out into the communities and try to find people that are interested in doing a business out of their home. And it is their own business, it's their thing, but if they become certified through the state will help reimburse with kids that come and to their program. So we set them up with curriculum and a business plan. Well, we don't give them the business plan, but we help them with that process. And then when they become certified, like I said, they'll have a child care out of their home, which is it's a wonderful, wonderful piece for the community, especially. There's such a deficit, but we really promote getting them through that process and taking them through that. We call it in good hands, because we really want to coddle that person and help them through the whole process, right. and we build really great relationships with those people. So.
Great, and yeah, the certification, like you mentioned, that right there carries that credibility with it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of the organization, are you guys volunteers, all volunteer? Do you have employees?
We have employees. Okay. We employ people in several counties, actually. Most of our employees work at our child care facility. Of course, there's I think we have 15 girls there, 15 people there, and we have a pretty good employee base. We're at about 20 to 25 on a good day, and we're always looking for employees. So there's some opportunities. If you go on our website, under the opportunities page, there's some job descriptions and titles and things. So there's entry-level positions available, as well as some administrative. Okay.
And in terms of funding, how are these programs funded, and is it donations? You mentioned you guys are nonprofit, right?
We're a 501c3, so we do accept donations and sponsorships and that kind of thing. Most of our funding is grant-based, so each of the programs are based on grants, either through Department of Economic Security or Division of Child Safety. So those are 2 of our biggest funders.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll continue talking about child abuse prevention, the programs offered there, as well as parent education through Buena Vista Children's Services. Again, bv-cs.org or 928-646-5200 for more information. This is Countywide. We're going to take a quick break. Back in a couple minutes.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. He'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
Hello, I'm Jen Cohen, host of Verde Valley TV's hit TV show, The Verde Valley Experience. On each episode, we feature local organizations, nonprofits, persons of interest, events, activities, and great local musicians. It's informative, it's entertaining, it's fun. It's the Verde Valley Experience.
Time is the one thing that we want more of as a St. Jude parent. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey.
El que St. Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. they pretty much have saved us.
They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, sitting down with Erin Mabry. She's the Executive Director of Buena Vista Children's Services. They have programs addressing child care, education, parenting, child abuse prevention, all kinds of things. They're in 5 counties, so a lot of different places for people to get help. We covered child care before we went to break, and now we're going to talk about child abuse prevention. And you talked about at the beginning of the show really the family structure and working with families overall. Talk about that and how that relates with child abuse prevention.
So prevention it's a tough thing to educate people on because it's, how do you prevent things? So child abuse, first of all, knowing what child abuse looks like, whether it's physical, emotional, there's all different kinds of abuse that can happen, neglect can happen, and so what we do is we try to talk about how to prevent that. So the idea of strengthening a family and strengthening a community that can support the family is important, and that's kind of what we're trying to do with our outreach. We are actually working on a statewide PSA with our statewide CAP councils. We call them CAP, the Child Abuse Prevention Councils, and we'll be filming that here at the end of this month and getting that into production. So hopefully people will be seeing a statewide message that talks about strengthening families and talking about their strengthening factors, which is important in bringing together a family, making sure that they are successful and preventing child abuse.
So is this for more new parents? Is this for people who think child abuse might be going on in their family? Who exactly?
It could be for anybody, okay. and the community. So the community being able to recognize signs of abuse. Unfortunately, when abuse happens, it's already happened. So really what we want to do is try to support families and child development where they are with their resiliency. The family is the important part of raising that family, and then also having everything around that family. So the community being able to support the family as well, and everybody kind of having the same knowledge of how to do that is important.
And what about working with community? Do you work with any local organizations here in the community or with the police department on this? How does that work?
So we work with all kinds of different communities or pieces in the community. We have an amazing community here in the Verde, of course. There's a lot of great organizations that help support the idea of strong families. So we try to pull everybody together and have everybody understand what their part is in strengthening families. But we also have a CAP council in the Sholo area as well. So we do stuff from kind of a collective, and I think it's a little bit more powerful when you have a collective voice.
Right.
So we go out and educate. In April, which is Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month, we have an event called the Children's Celebration every year. We've had it for 23 years. I think we're on our 23rd year.
Wow.
Yeah, we're real excited about having it this year. We'll be hosting, Mingus Union High School will be hosting it this year. And it's a great event for families to come out. It's a free event, and they get to come out and see what the community has to offer to help them be resilient or to give them support and what they need. So
yeah, just knowing what to look for, I think, whether it's with your family or one of your kids' friends comes over to play or something, or just to know what are some of the signs of child abuse and what to do if you see those signs, I think is great for everybody.
Definitely.
Moving on to the parents. In terms of parent education, that's another big part of what Buena Vista does. What's offered through there, and what are parents going to be taught with these programs?
So through Matt Force this year, we've been funded for 3 different curriculums. One is the Guiding Good Choices, and one is Love and Logic. And Guiding Good Choices is more targeted for kids ages 9 to 14. Love and Logic, all kids, all ages, adults even. Love and Logic can be used on them as well, dogs. But the whole family. And then there's also a parent cafe, which is a little bit different than a class setting, where it's more of a conversation that happens with the families, and it's actually built on the strengthening factors through the parent cafe. So we have several different options for whatever fits a family specifically. And like I said, we've been blessed with funding through Matt Force for those, and they're free to the community. Love and Logic and Guiding Good Choices both have free childcare as well, so that kind of helps the parents with that barrier of what do I do with my kids when I go to parenting classes. So that's exciting, and you can go on our website for times and places for those.
What are some of the things that parents are looking to learn? What are some of the main things that parents want to get out of these programs, would you say, new parents?
Probably mostly child development, understanding where they're at with the child development, and behavioral issues. You know, how do I manage Johnny when he's talking back, or
how do I discipline?
How do I discipline? How do I do those things? So these are really good tools for parents to have. We talk about parents and their toolboxes, and what do they have in their toolbox? If they don't have something in their toolbox, they probably won't be able to use it. So again, looking at child abuse prevention and that kind of thing, and neglect, the more you have in your toolbox, the better off you're going to be with how you raise your child.
Yeah. Now, and are these, you mentioned that you guys are in 5 counties, and not all these programs are offered at every single location? No. So the parenting classes that we provide are just in the Verde Valley. However, we can contact, if there's somebody that's outside of our area, we can help direct them and where a resource might be available for them to have some. I know that these classes are also offered countywide right now through Matt Force, and most communities have, not all communities, but most communities have some kind of parenting programs that are going on. Okay. So we can help connect parents with that. And you mentioned for a couple of these, free child care is included, right, while the parents are in class? For the Love and Logic and the Guiding Good Choices. When we're talking about the standard child care, like we covered at the beginning of the show, what's the cost range for that? It depends on the age of the child. Okay. And right now we are implementing monthly rates, and so the cost right now is people are feeling it's a little bit high, but it's warranted. The professionals that are working with the kids, they're not babysitters. They are trained professionals in the field. They get training all year round. They have degrees in child development and early childhood, so it's more of an educational experience rather than a babysitting service, as people kind of think of child care. Yeah, I mean, they're educators, really, is what it sounds like to me. Is that your kid's going there and he or she's not, they're not sitting maybe just in a classroom, just behind a desk, but as you mentioned, childhood development is huge at the age that we're talking about here. So just being engaged and having somebody keeping them occupied, and especially somebody who's trained and certified, is a plus. So we're gonna take our second break. Again, for more information, you can go to bv-cs.org or 928-646-5200. When we come back, we'll talk about their education conference coming up on February 25th. This is Countywide, back in a couple minutes.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weekend.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
Hello, I'm Jen Cohen, host of Verde Valley TV's hit TV show, The Verde Valley Experience. On each episode, we feature local organizations, nonprofits, persons of interest, events, activities, and great local musicians. It's informative, it's entertaining, it's fun. It's the Verde Valley Experience.
Time is the one thing that we want more of as a St. Jude parent. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey.
El que St. Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow, they pretty much have saved us.
They take care of our housing, they take care of our food, in addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, sitting down with Erin Mabry. She's Executive Director of Buena Vista Children's Services. We're talking about all of the programs that they offer, from child care to parent education, child abuse prevention, everything. And they got on February 25th, actually Friday, February 24th, and Saturday, February 25th, their 22nd annual, wow.
Years, yeah.
Early Childhood Education Conference. And so, Erin, what can people expect to see going on at that conference again, Friday and Saturday, 24th and 25th?
Well, as we were talking about the education piece for the providers, we provide a conference every year, 22 years and strong, for early childhood educators to come for a full day of learning and connecting and that kind of thing. And we've been doing that, like I said, with Yavapai College for 22 years. And wow. This year we've invited the community actually to come and join us, not just focused on the early childhood piece, but the whole raising a child all the way through actually what we're calling cradle to career education.
That's a good name.
Yeah, so we've partnered with the Gurian Institute is coming, and they're going to talk about the brain development and the difference between a boy and a girl brain and the impact of technology on the brain, as we were discussing at the break. But there's a lot of great information. There'll be booths there bringing our community together. The community members that do so many things for our community we have a plethora of services, and having everybody come together one night is pretty exciting. And that registration is open. It's $25 at the door if somebody decides that they want to come at the last minute. And our registration is open for the conference up until Wednesday. So,
man, what a great idea to get educators, but as well as community members all in this one place to talk about this, because I imagine education and how you go about educating children is constantly changing in the ideas and what to do, especially with technology, like you said.
Yeah, and it's really not just the teacher in a classroom's job to educate anybody. You know, it's our whole community coming together, talking about making sure that they are safe and that they can learn and grow and all of those things. That's our mission, I guess, with Buena Vista.
Great, perfect. Well, we're out of time, so thank you so much for coming in here today.
I appreciate being here today.
And again, the 22nd Annual Early Childhood Education Conference, February 24th and February 25th, Saturday, is going to be the main part of it, I imagine, right? But educators and community members, so you can go online for more information, bv-cs.com to register as well for this. .org, excuse me, bv-cs.org, 928-646-5200. That's going to do it for today's Countywide. We'll see you next time.